The night that I got the call was a rainy night. I remember Brittany saying to me, "Oh, I'll be home early." But I received a phone call. It was 2:37 in the morning, and it was the chaplain at Mission. But he said, "Hey, Brittany and her friend have been in an accident."
She's not breathing, her heart rate is beating fast, her blood pressure is critically low.
The biggest fear with treating Brittany was the multitude of her injuries. She had neurosurgical injuries, she had orthopedic injuries.
This was a young woman in extremis, near death. If someone like Brittany went into another emergency department that wasn't equipped to deal with trauma, she could have died within 15 minutes.
The advantage of our newest generation of CT scanners is that we can rapidly acquire the data, basically from head to toe, about what her injuries are, and get that data immediately to the neurosurgeon.
We found out that she was developing hydrocephalus, which is a condition where fluid develops in the brain and causes pressure. We thought a ventriculostomy was the best thing for her.
I knew for her mom that I needed to stay calm, but my heart just kind of sunk when I heard brain injury.
I didn't know whether I would ever see her again, if that was going to be the last time that I saw her.
After the operating room, Brittany was admitted into the trauma neuro ICU. With Dr. Kim and Dr. Kushner's guidance, we put into place our traumatic brain injury protocol. We had to place special catheters down into her brain to be able to measure the pressure. We measured the oxygen levels in her brain.
I couldn't really touch her. She, of course, had so much attached to her and broken limbs, and it just scared me. I would be in there for a short amount of time, and I had to walk out.
Seeing her daughter in critical condition, in a critical ICU, just evokes so much emotion. It's, you know, I don't think Sasha could breathe. We really have to work to engage quickly with a relationship with them so they can trust us to take care of their loved one.
There were so many machines. I mean, all the numbers that you look at, that pretty much becomes your life.
She progressively got worse, so they had to do the craniectomy. Dr. Kim consulted us and said, "This is what we need to do." And I just said, "You do what you do, and she'll take care of the rest."
I could not ask for a better set of doctors, and each and every one of them made us feel so included in what was going on. Everything was explained to us, and it made me feel safer.
And every single person that came there for Brittany was there for me through that.
Lori, one of the nurses over there, who's just awesome, kind of took me aside and knew that I needed a little boost, you know, so she took me over to the Wall of Fame. Brittany's not going to be okay with not being right. And Lori said, "Well, let's make her right then." And then she started to get better. They care for their patients as if they're their own kids.
Nurses here are particularly different. They're not just patient advocates, but they're also doctor advocates too. And to have the combination of somebody who is not just caring for the patient, but also helping the doctor out and making this transition between the patient and doctor relationship so good, and that's very unique.
The brain still hasn't connected yet with the outside world. And then very slowly, over 1 to 2 weeks, you start to see the person inside emerge.
I was sitting there with her holding her hand, and all of a sudden her left eye started to creep open a little bit, like, you know, a little bit at a time. And I just felt like that was the best day of my life.
The turning point was when she spoke for the first time. And it was her voice. And she looked up at the nurse and she said, "I want my sister."
She said, "I love you." And I literally just broke down, and it was the most amazing feeling.
When Brittany was finally well enough to leave the ICU, it was a wonderful day. We had been with this family every step of the way.
You know, I met her in the intensive care unit when she literally could only open her eyes this 4 weeks after the injury and not really moving her arms or legs.
Not knowing how to walk and being told that I have to learn that again at 21 years old is just, I can't even explain the feeling. It just felt like a failure.
She wasn't going to stay in that wheelchair. She was going to do it.
It felt like I had 10,000 pounds on my shoulders, just pushing me down, not wanting me to stand up and not wanting me to move.
She was also suffering a great deal of pain, and pain management was a challenge.
Our focus is on rehab, so we want to create an environment where they can be the safest during their recovery process. But part of that, especially with someone like with Brittany, who had still was wearing the helmet, we had to create some limitations to her behavior.
Our team's approach is to give the individual back their life. We're looking to add quality to life.
Mission is very different in that there is a tremendous amount of faith in that we do good for people where the people will get better.
They are truly angels. I tell all my friends, they're just, if she was somewhere else, she wouldn't have made it.
And I definitely experienced a stronger, greater kind of love.
I'm not the miracle, everyone around me is, and they fought for me when I wasn't strong enough to fight for myself.
Thank you for saving my little girl. That's the only thing I can say to them.